E3 Day 2!
And we're here to check out some third-party titles.
So Becky and I checked out Disney Infinity 3.0 today with the new playsets for Star Wars and Inside Out. So Becky, first off, what is your overall impression of everything?
They're Star Wars. They're Star Wars in Disney Infinity. Like, what? Well, I mean, they've obviously put a lot of thought into the new things that they're doing with 3.0 in general, not just Star Wars, but also with Inside Out. Mm-hmm. They've chosen to do different things with the new playsets. For example, like Inside Out is actually now less focused on just melee combat like a lot of the other playsets are, but this one's actually much more of a puzzle platformer, actually. You know, it's a lot of teamwork. Each of the Inside Out characters have their own special abilities that you actually have to use in order to get anywhere in the game. You know, okay. For example, we tested out the demo and we got to play Sadness. Sadness can apparently walk across clouds, which...
Because her heart is heavy.
Because her heart is very heavy, and she has an affinity with the clouds. But the other characters can't, and the clouds will actually vanish, so it's much, much easier if you have to carry anything across the clouds to have Sadness do it, or carry the other characters. They can totem kind of like Triforce Warrior, or Triforce heroes. So it's much easier for her to actually carry people across the clouds in order to actually accomplish things in the game instead.
Yeah, and I know I played with Disgust, and she apparently hates fluffy things. So when she jumps on the clouds, she goes way higher because she wants to get as far apart from them as she can. So if there's something really high up, she's the character for you.
And it's hard to sometimes organize exactly, you know, how to coordinate those things, because we discovered that it was a little difficult at times. And they've done a lot more new things with the Star Wars platforming too. The Twilight of the Republic is much more of the melee combat that we know and love, versus the Rise Against the Empire is much more about vehicle movement and space travel and stuff. Yeah, and you can actually play them cross with each other.
Yeah, so. And they said all the vehicle works really differently than 2.0 and 1.0. Everything's been reworked to make it more oriented towards those vehicles, so they can do more, they can maneuver better. It's just more exciting gameplay.
And the combat system's actually also been revamped. So actually, they worked with other developers that are actually better at combat, they said, in order to improve on the old system they had, and which is now actually going to translate back to the older 1.0 and 2.0 characters as well. So. Yeah,
I just like the idea that we can bring the characters can actually cross over into the other playsets. All Star Wars characters are going to be able to mix them up in the playsets, so you can get some really wonky timeline
issues.
Yeah, and the other game we checked out was Lego Dimensions, which is going to be, you know, the big competitor for Disney Infinity and Skylanders.
Mm-hmm. So you played the demo.
Yes, I did.
I didn't get to check this one out, but you did. How was the demo, first of all?
It was way different than I expected. I didn't realize how far they're really going to go with it, and they didn't really give that many details. So we started actually in a kind of a story mode and followed through there. You can put up to 7 characters and vehicles, however many you want of each, onto their platform, which is awesome. There's no really rules about what you're going to do there.
Way less limited than other Toys to Life kind of games.
And obviously you can toggle through them like you do in the normal Lego games. And with the vehicles, each of them can actually serve as 3 different vehicles. So you can go into the main area and follow instructions on the screen that will tell you, like the manuals you get in your Lego boxes, how to make step-by-step each different vehicle and transform it so you get more abilities throughout the game.
Well, I mean, give us an example of some of the things you got to do, like...
Well, I started out in the Yellow Brick Road, where Batman was instantly confused when he saw the Scarecrow, because he thought it was the one from his world.
Oops.
Yeah. And after that confusion was pulled out, they were looking for these kind of gemstones that create new abilities that you can interact with the platforms themselves. They'll change colors and things. You have to move the characters around. Mm-hmm. That's also something that's really different from the Skylanders in Disney Infinity, is you're moving the characters around. You have to be near that platform so you can finish the puzzles and get to different areas.
So much less stationary than others, where you just set the figure on the platform and
forget
it's
about
done.
It. Yeah, no, you have to know where everyone is. Sometimes, like in the Oz area, I was actually attacked by the Wicked Witch, and she cast a spell on us, and it froze us, and I had to move all my characters onto the other side where her spell wasn't cast to free them up. And then I got to go into Portal, which was amazing.
New.
Yeah, and you do get the portal gun, you get to shoot it, you get to go through different areas. And the cake comes up in it. And then after that, we went into Scooby-Doo, which was really based on the original, like, 60s. It had all the music. Daphne is constantly posing in the background. No, seriously, you don't even know the half of it. So it was really different. Everything was so like jazzed up, and there's 14 different worlds, so it's going to be amazing exactly where each of them takes you.
All right. So, I mean, did they tell you, or did you get to speak with them at all about, you know, how much they plan to expand on this game in the future? Like, obviously, they've started with a really great palette and beginner, you know, idea with all the 14 different worlds.
It's ambitious.
So it's ambitious. There's a lot to do, but, I mean, I assume they are going to go back later and add more. So have they kind of at all talked to you about the kind of plan for that?
Well, they said that every single dimension is going to have, I believe, 1 or 2 characters plus vehicles and objects that you can buy for it. Those won't be required for each of those areas, but it's going to be required to be able to get all the extra little goodies and things throughout. And on top of that, the platform is not going to change year by year. When they start releasing new LEGO Dimensions games, they're not going to have you go and buy a whole new platform. It's going to keep being compatible, and they can keep building off of it.
That's good. So it's less, you know, constantly having to buy all new software for everything.
Yeah. So we'll see how that works.
All right. Well, I mean, that seems like a pretty good start to our knowledge about the Dimensions game. Anything else you want to add?
I mean, I had a lot of fun, honestly, and I personally love Legos, and I think it really brought in everything people love about the Lego games, and the variety in it is just fantastic. So I'm really looking forward to what's coming next for it.
You know, just a little bit of Easter eggs, throwback to that Lego movie that everybody was so excited
and there's
about.
A lot of great inside jokes for everybody who's fans of each of the things that are going to appear.
Good.
It's good.
Great. All right. Well, thank you.
We played with toys today.
Yay! So, getting this out of the way first.
Yeah, I backed Mighty Number 9 on Kickstarter, so I just wanted to, full disclosure, I did put some money behind that game.
All right. So first, what were your initial impressions of the demo that you played?
Well, let me back it up a little bit from there, because I'm a real big Mega Man fan, so that's one of the reasons why I backed this project. But from the trailers and whatnot that I've seen, I wasn't too impressed. The backgrounds didn't really impress me in the videos online, so I was a bit skeptical what the final product would be like, and we're closer to that today. So I sat down and played it, and it does look much nicer than I've seen watching it on online. So it's not as bad. I thought the backgrounds looked worse when I saw the video. It looked a little bit better here, and it flowed better when you're actually sitting down and playing it. So I was happy about that. And it does have a bit of a Mega Man feel overall, so I'm happy about it. It could be a little better. The way Beck, the main character, walks is kind of weird, but you get used to it. So.
Yeah, so the controls are a little bit...
It takes a little getting used to, because it's a little bit different of a game, because in Mighty Number 9, it's not just about killing and moving on. You weaken guys, and then you can like dash through them to increase your score, and the sooner you dash through them after damaging them enough, the better bonus it gives you.
All right, well, that's cool. Well, do you think it was worth the wait? You know, the 2-3 years we've been waiting for this?
It's hard to say right now because I haven't sat down long enough to play through the entire game, so I don't know the length of the game and the full challenge of it. But it looks promising right now. I got to one of the bosses, and there was a lot of pattern recognition, which is something Mega Man fans, I think, look for in bosses.
Yeah.
So is it worth the wait? Time will tell, but I'm looking forward to find out.
Yeah, so it feels familiar, but still new enough that you feel like people will actually be interested in it, not just another rehash of Mega Man 105.
Yeah, I mean, even though Capcom, we would love Mega Man 105. Please give us that. But this is a different game. There's some familiar characteristics to it, but it's unique on its own because of the new mechanics.
That's awesome. Well, do you think this should become like its own series, maybe in its own right, instead of just, you know, piling on one game and being like, well, we did it. All right.
I'd like to play the full final version, and then I'd give you my thoughts on that. It's a little too early, but we'll see what happens.
All right. Well, that's our Talkback on Mighty Number 9. Guys, look for it coming out soon, and if you're here at E3, feel free to go and demo it and see what you think. All right, hi, we're back for E3 Day 2 and another round of question and answer. We got quite a few good questions today, so we'll just jump right in.
Ash asks, does the Zelda Triforce game have download play, or will you need a few copies for the multiplayer?
Actually, it does have download play, so you're not going to need to buy multiple copies of the game in order to play with your friends.
Perfect.
All right, and we have eJamer asks, are the Amiibo figures for Animal Crossing Amiibo Festival Smaller than the others we've seen, or was that just my imagination?
They are not smaller, actually. She's just shorter because the villager and everybody's always a little stout.
She's
we have a
Isabel.
picture.
All right, and our next question is from Chris. Chris asks, what is the connection between Xenoblade Chronicles X and the previous Xenoblade?
Actually, it's still unclear, but we do know it is not a direct sequel. And Megan asks, will Disney Infinity 3.0 get characters and quests from the new Star Wars films?
Yes, they actually will. They're going to be releasing another playset called The Force Awakens when the film comes out. And we have another question from eJamer. Said, which male NWR staffer would make the best booth babe? We voted.
Yeah, we voted. It was really close, but it's definitely Neil. He has a winning personality and an award-winning smile.
And
I have no idea where I am on this.
right here. And Chris with a Y asks,
how does single-player and Zelda Triforce Heroes work?
we didn't actually get to try this out in the demo. They only had multiplayer, but the popular theory is that you're either going to have AIs that you have to totem with, or it's going to be dolls that you pretty much have to cart around, just like in Four Swords Adventures.
And Addison asks, how does the new Mario Tennis feel compared to the N64 game?
Pretty much the same, but sometimes even worse. We heard reports from some of our staff members that the controls, they were pretty much negligible as far as the difference. The game itself felt the same until you got the giant mushroom, and then the controls went out of whack, and your hitbox and stuff was kind of not really calibrated well, so
We'll see if that gets fixed.
hopefully.
So thank you for sending in your questions. We have a ton more we weren't able to answer.
We may do a rapid fire round if we have a lot more, so keep
them
watching.
coming. You can send in your questions at #AskNWR or click below to find out more information.
All right, and that's all we have for today. So see you guys tomorrow.